Open the bonnet of a brand new Ute and try to find the dipstick for the gearbox. Go on. On a lot of them, it's not there anymore. The transmission is sealed. They call it filled for life. And that sounds lovely until you ask the obvious question, whose life? Because it's not yours and it's not the Ute's. Filled for life means filled until the warranty runs out. And after that, the fluid that was never meant to be changed quietly cooks itself, and the gearbox that was never meant to be opened quietly dies. On schedule. As designed. That's not a conspiracy. Nobody's hiding it. It's just business. And once you understand the business, you'll never look at a new Ute the same way again. Because here's the uncomfortable truth I keep coming back to. We know exactly how to build a vehicle that lasts 500,000 kilometres. I did a whole video on the engines that prove it. We didn't forget. We chose to stop. Because a Ute that lasts 30 years is a Ute you only buy once. And there is no money in selling a man one Ute. The money is in selling him 6. I'm Greg. I'm 53. And I've got nothing to sell you, no dealer, no sponsor, no badge I'm loyal to. So let me walk you through how the modern Ute got designed to die and how they made very sure you can't do anything about it. Start with the engineering, because that's where it begins. The old Utes were built with what engineers call margin. They were overbuilt, understressed, and had more metal than the job strictly needed. That margin is exactly what let them do 1,000,000 kilometres. Modern Utes have had that margin shaved off in the name of weight, economy, and emissions. A 2-litre engine doing the work a 4-litre used to do. A timing belt that now runs inside the engine oil, shedding itself slowly into the very thing that's meant to protect it. Plastic, where there used to be metal. Sealed boxes, where there used to be a drain plug and a dipstick. Every one of those decisions makes the Ute lighter, cheaper, and greener on the showroom floor and shortens its life out in the real world. That's not an accident. That's the trade-off made deliberately in your disfavour. But the engineering is only half of it. The other half, the cleverer half, is that they have made the thing nearly impossible to fix when it does let go. Picture the old way. A part fails, you or your local mechanic buy that part, you bolt the new one on, done. Now picture today. The part fails, except it does not come as a part anymore. It comes as a whole sealed module, 4 times the price. And even when you have paid for it and bolted it in, it will not work because it has to be coded to the car by a dealer with proprietary software you are not allowed to have. You own the Ute. You own the new part. And you still cannot make your own vehicle run without paying the brand for permission. That is not maintenance. That is a toll booth. And it's spreading into everything. Diagnostics are locked behind dealer-only tools. Repair information that manufacturers fight in court to keep out of independent workshops' hands. Headlights that are sealed units instead of a $2 globe. Bumpers stuffed with radar and cameras, so a low-speed tap in a car park that used to be a $100 job is now a 5-figure sensor recalibration. Which, by the way, is exactly why insurers are writing these Utes off after a knock that wouldn't have bent the chrome on an old one. The truck didn't get less repairable by chance. It got less repairable because less repairable is more profitable. Then there's the newest frontier. And this is the one that should worry you most. The subscription. Heated seats the car already has, the hardware already fitted, that you have to pay a monthly fee to switch on. Features held to ransom in software. A ute that phones home and harvests your data. And quietly shifts you from someone who owns a vehicle to someone who rents a rolling computer that happens to have a tray on the back. You will own nothing. They said it out loud. They did not say it would start with your ute. Now, I will be fair because I am always fair. Not all of this is pure greed. Some of it is genuine. Emissions law forced the downsizing, safety law forced the sensors. Some of that tech has saved lives, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. But here is the thing, fair or not, the result on your driveway is identical. You end up with a ute that is designed to be replaced, not repaired. The reason does not change the outcome, and the outcome is what you are paying for. And here in Australia, we cop a sharper edge of it than most. We do not build cars here anymore, not one. So we are entirely at the mercy of what the importers decide to send us and how long they decide to support it. When a brand gets the wobbles, and we have watched a few do exactly that, you are not just left with a depreciating ute, you are left with an orphan. No parts, no software, no one to code the module, you cannot code yourself. A bargain that becomes a paperweight the day the importer packs up. That risk barely exists on a 30-year-old diesel you can fix with a socket set. It is enormous on a brand new one you cannot fix at all. So what do you actually do about it? Because I'm not here just to make you angry, anger's cheap. Here's the honest advice. 1. The simple ones are still out there, and they're still the smart buy. The last of the utes you can genuinely work on have mechanical injection, a dipstick on every box, and a globe you can replace in a servo car park. Every year that goes by, they get more valuable, not less. The bloke keeping his old Patrol or his old Cruiser alive isn't being sentimental. He's being shrewd. 2. If you are buying new, buy with your eyes open. Ask the questions the salesman hopes you won't. Is the gearbox serviceable? Can an independent mechanic get the diagnostic software? What's actually a subscription versus what you own outright? Make the answers part of the price. And 3, and this one's bigger than any single ute, back the right to repair fight. The push to force manufacturers to share parts, tools and information with independent workshops is the only thing standing between you and a future where you do not really own the thing in your driveway at all. That's not a fringe issue. That's the whole ballgame. Because here is the truth sitting under all of it. The badge wants you renting. It wants you back in the showroom every 5 years, hat in hand. The maths wants you owning something you can keep and fix and run into the ground and out the other side. Those two things are at war now, and they have been for a while, and nobody at the dealership is ever going to tell you which side they're on. Now, I want to hear from you on this one especially. What is the most ridiculous, unfixable thing you have run into on a modern car? The part that came as a whole module. The job that needed a dealer's laptop. The feature behind a subscription. Put it in the comments, because that list, the one you lot write, is the real record of what is happening to the cars in this country. I'm Greg. Buy the maths, not the badge. Look after yourselves and drive safe.